Hey everyone, welcome back and happy Thursday. All right, guys. Well, tomorrow we'll be back for hot, messy topics. But in the meantime, we have some Real Housewives of New Jersey to get into. And this one is interesting because not only do we have Kathy Wakile, who is claiming that Melissa manipulated the timeline of their lunch reunion. So now we have that, of course. But then we have Giudice and a few clips of him sharing his true side of the story, which right now I don't know if that's the best thing to do. I feel like, first of all, he doesn't care what we have to say, but also, secondly, doesn't sound like there would be like the best judgment here. But third, no, not right now. Not with everything that her and Louis are going through. I don't know if this would be the best time. Anyways, pop off in the comment section, guys. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell, and let's jump right in. All right, guys. So I wanted to talk about this New Jersey stuff because there was a recent interview with Page Six, and Kathy Wakile addressed her relationship with Melissa Gorga, and she pretty much suggested that Melissa manipulated the timeline of their reunion. So let's just kind of go through the timeline dispute here. Kathy is claiming that Melissa Gorga misrepresented the timing of their reconciliation, kind of implying that Melissa's version of events don't align with reality. They have been dealing with each other back and forth for a hot second now. And why I want to point this out is yes, we know that they became neighbors, and all of a sudden you saw where Kathy and her husband were being accused of being jealous of Melissa and Joe. They were like, we're not jealous. But then if you see Kathy and Rich's new home, I'm like, I would be jealous of you. But then also you see Melissa Gorga with her new sprinkle cookie line. And I mean, what did they make, like $500,000 in the first 3 months? So you're kind of playing like pickleball, I feel. Like it's like, doesn't matter. All right, back to it. So when it comes to the family dynamics, the Wakile-Gorga relationship, it's been strained for a long time, and Kathy's comments suggested that there were ongoing tensions, and they have different perspectives on their interactions. Again, from what it's been said, they have been accused of being very jealous that they're no longer on the show, and I think that they're like, we don't have a jealous bone in our bodies. So of course, you're going to get both sides. I don't know. But when it comes to the public perception, by bringing this to light, Kathy appears to be challenging the narrative that was presented by Melissa Gorga, possibly aiming to clarify her own position and experiences. And I think that she was trying to say, look, I'm not attacking Melissa, but at the same time, that is not how this went down. And if it's going to be put out there, then I want to share my version of events, which that's not, again, the most shocking. But I want to play this. Here we go.
Or thought I would do anytime because I wasn't into any of all that stuff. You know what I mean? I was just working hard, doing my thing, and pretty much was a target for being on a television show. All right. So that's pretty much my case. All right. I was a target. I got targeted for being on a television show. And because of my ex-partner ratting me out, pretty much looked at me and my ex as a target to where, see, they're not interested in people that.
Well, and that's, people are asking me to cover this again, but that was one of the things that I pointed out from the jump was, okay, well, I never did anything wrong, but then my partner ratted me out. Well, if you didn't do anything wrong, it's kind of like if you're driving down the street and you're on the phone with somebody and they're like, oh my God, the police are behind me. And it's like, well, who cares? If you didn't do anything wrong, why would that matter? And in this, I'm like, well, why would that matter?
They're going to talk about for a day, and then, the next day it's over. It's not a big case for the feds. You know what I mean? Even if it's a big drug dealer or whoever it might be, goes on for a day and then, over, right? But if they get a celebrity in there, they get somebody with a little, with a name or somebody that they're of interest, they'll make a big deal about it every day on the news, blasting it every day on this news channel. They want publicity, right? Then once they get what they get and what they want, all right, no big day. We put away the Joe Giudice, which wasn't supposed to be the case. I never thought I would do any time because I wasn't into any of all that stuff. You know what I mean? I was just working hard, doing my thing, and pretty much was a target for being on a television show. All right. So that's pretty much my case. All right. I was a target. I got targeted for being on a television show. And because of my ex-partner ratting me out, pretty much looked at me and my ex as a target to where, see, they're not interested in people that they're going to talk about for a day. And then, next day it's over. It's not a big case for the feds. You know what I mean? Even if it's a big drug dealer.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go to the next one really quick from Joe Giudice.
Cigarettes or whether it was drugs, marijuana, whatever the hell it might be. They had it hidden in these toilets or behind the walls, and it was insane. Like even the, the stalls, the whole stall, there was a way of taking the whole stall out, you know what I mean? And they would hang like everything, so it would ferment in these walls, because these walls were like wide walls, you know what I mean? So they would just make hooks in there and hang them and let it ferment for like a week. A week later, to take the toilet out so they could get their bag of fermentation and go make their grappa, but they call it moonshine, right? Let's just say moonshine. And they had a hell of a system the way they made this moonshine as well. All right, we'll get to that later on. But I mean, that's plumbers did. Cigarettes or whether it was drugs, marijuana, whatever the hell it might be, they had.
Okay. So I like the fact that he's sharing what went, like what happened behind the scenes when it came to ICE and being arrested. But however, I'm like, it still kind of seems like, and of course the fans are going to feel like this too, that there's not a whole lot of accountability here. And I don't think that they're far off with that. I think that he has maintained, I didn't do anything wrong. He even said when this Hollywood demon situation, Housewives expose came out, like they noted that Teresa Giudice on documented paperwork was raking in, I think, about $15K a month as a realtor. This is what the IRS said. And he was like, that's not true. That's BS. But then we're looking at you a little funny in this, not to be a jerk. And I'm just kind of pointing out the obvious. Where we're looking at you a little bit funny is you're like, well, I didn't do anything wrong. But you know what? The reason I got in trouble was my partner was a rat. And it's like, so which one is it? Did you not do anything wrong, or was your partner a rat and you were doing something wrong and it got out there? I think that's the part that would probably be the most confusing. But anyways, I want to hear what you guys think. Guys, pop off in the comment section. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. And again, we are giving away 3 bouquets thanks to one of our favorite collaborators, roseforever.com. If you guys want the opportunity to win one of the bouquets, and you can pick whichever one you want, all you have to do is go to upandadamlive.com and enter your email into the sign up list. It is free. And if you guys just want to buy something now for Mother's Day or an anniversary or a birthday, it's one of my favorite gifts to give. So you can use the code that is put in the description and also pinned in the comment section. It is capital UP 20 for $20 off, because they're already running amazing deals. So you don't really need more than that, but you'll see what I'm saying. Go to roseforever.com. I love you guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye.